Today we're going to be trying to make a hinge. I have started to build a new enclosure here, so I'll show you what I did and then we can open her up and see if it came out last night. So first off, I made a sketch. I'm in a Fusion 360. Alright, so for parameters here, I did my guide, which is this big circle right here. And I just chose an arbitrary number. It could be anything. It's just whatever. I don't know. I felt like it. But it kind of helps line things up. I wanted to line up the edge of this right here. So also have inner diameter, outer diameter, tolerances. And I just went ahead and just put some arbitrary numbers in here. And if it worked, it worked. Didn't, it didn't. And sometimes I would put like a different number when I was making the sketch, and then I have to go back in and change it. But I found that these are awesome. These parameters are amazing. And if you do it right and you tie it to the origin, then you can make big changes. And it's okay. Like, check this out. Inner diameter, let's say I want it to be, maybe so it's not quite big enough, and maybe I want it to be 10. So now my cone in here is 10 instead. Let's try go back to 8. And now back to 8. So these are really good as long as you do them the correct way by tying it to an origin of some kind. Now when you get a little more complicated further down in the sketch, when you're doing a sketch on the side of a face, after you've extruded it, it can be a little tricky because if you change some of the dimensions, that face does not exist anymore. So you may have to go in and kind of help it along and tie it back to something different. That happened with the holes I made on this, and I'll show you in a minute. So what I like to do, this is a design I was successful with the other day. The project I'm working on, I haven't posted yet, but it's for these hinges here. It's a little sneak preview of an old design that was going on. And it kind of has a cone in the middle. And it allows you to do print in place, which is super cool. So, anyway, most importantly here, you have an inner diameter, outer diameter, and the difference between is going to be at the tolerance. So when I go and label these, it's like the inner diameter minus tolerance of the cone. My tolerance was 0.2 at this point. For this particular filament, I went from PLA to a PETG. And I did a test yesterday, and it was a little sticky on other areas, so decided to do that. Okay, now you have to pay attention to how many times you do your tolerance, because it can compound on itself. So I did a tangent to the, which is right up here, and if you can't find it, you can go under constraints and look for it. So I did a tangent to the edge of this, so I would just make like a circle like this, and then I would name it, and then I would go up here and get a line, and I would say, okay, I'm gonna do that, and then maybe I'll do another line like that. Okay, now I want this to be tangent to that. Boom, it's gonna be touching. Now I want this, oh wait, sorry. Now I want this little dot at the end, because I like nice clean drawings, to be the coefficient on that circle. So now I got like a perfect line right up to the tangent. Makes it nice. And so then when I'm extruding, I'm going to be extruding this part here and that part. And then both the inner diameter of the cone and the outer one. Okay? And then, you get to choose what you want. So after partway through the design, I was like, hey, instead of redoing this, I wanted a little bit extra. So I did that on the edges, and it ended up turning out pretty nice. So let's go Z, get out of here. Okay. So after this, what did I do? I went to extrude. All right, so I extruded this edge, and I'll go into the settings for you. I'll just show you what I did. So I put in hinge length. That's it, which happened to be 8. All right, now I selected all the pieces. All right, up over here, I have 5 profiles selected. I'm just using the same exact sketch for every single one of these. And I'm gonna be doing an offset, and I'll show you how to do that for every single one here. I wanna do a new body, start, sketch off profile plane, perfect. Direction, one side, extent type, it's just my distance. And it'll be a little different for the next one. So push OK. Then you go back up to extrude, and we're gonna go to the next one. Give a little preview. Whoop. All right. So right click on here if you ever want to edit your features you have in your timeline down here. It's a really good way to see where you're at. So I'm just going, I can play it all the way through every single piece, which is really nice up in Fusion. So I'm going to right click, go to edit feature. Now I'm going to go off profile plane. However, I want a tolerance this time. So if you look over here, I'm going to go to top down menu view up here. And you see that gap right there? That's what I want, a nice little gap. So up over here, we're gonna go to start at object, okay? And the object I selected was this. So I actually have to turn off my sketch for just a moment when I select that. Turn it off, select this, and click on that. That is for your object, okay? Then you can turn on your sketch again if you want. All right, and then for my distance, I have tolerance gap for the offset. So I just put my tolerance in there. That's how I got that gap. All right, and then for my distance, how long I'm going negative hinge length. It could be positive. It just depends on which direction you're facing. And I'm not doing I am doing a new body. And you don't have to, sometimes when you're doing hinges, you have to make sure like the lid and the base are turned off when you say join, because it will like join it to the same body if they are touching in any way. But in this case, they're actually not touching. Very small amount is not touching for that. Okay, next up, we're gonna do the other side of the hinge, which can get a little tricky now. So we're going the other direction here. Edit feature. So doing it again here. We're selecting our profile surface, our sketch, and we're selecting that. Now we're making sure we select this. Oh, I guess I didn't explain this in the sketch. The outside circle and inside circle is just separated by the tolerance. So I just have my parameters here. Go to modify, change parameters. If we go down and look at these, I haven't got to the cone yet, but my inner diameter, my outer diameter, and I just did like 12 or whatever, or 8 was the inner diameter. But for that little circle on the inside is minus my tolerance. Where I put tolerance? Yeah, tolerance gap, 0.2. Hopefully that you guys understand that. All right, we'll go back here again, edit feature. All right. So we've selected our sketch, right? Select the areas we want, boom. Then come over here, my offset, and I'm gonna turn off my sketch. I'm gonna click on this side this time, boom, right there. Okay, and then I put my offset for my tolerance gap. Okay, so I'm going to this, bam. Now we're in select mode for your offset. Click on it. Okay. And if you look from a top down, we got that gap. Okay, we're going the same dishes, hinge length, and this time it's a positive hinge length, it's not negative. So it just depends on what orientation you are to it. And we want a new body because it's not touching nothing. Okay. I'll actually force it to do a new body. So then we're going to go into our sketch here. And what I did for this one, oops. There we go. Is I selected these two profiles. Actually, I selected this one first, and then it wasn't big enough when I was doing my chamfers on the sides. So I did those two little boxes afterwards. You can always make changes afterwards into your base sketch, and it will cascade through the entire timeline, which is a really nice feature. Okay, so let's see here. What did I do? Edit feature. So you can see the profile I selected right there. And then I just did symmetric, and I did something kind of silly on this one. I wanted it to be symmetric on both sides, no matter what distance I put in. Okay, so I did something a little silly on this one. I don't normally do, but I did my hinge length plus my hinge length. Okay, plus my hinge length, which is 1, 2, 3 hinge lengths. Okay, that would be that minus these two tolerance gaps. Okay, plus tolerance gap plus my shell, which is the thickness of my tolerance gap, which is 2 millimeters, plus another hinge length, and then times 3. I probably should have just did, a certain ratio. Hinge length, plus, tolerance times 2. That'd be at least the edge, plus, I don't know, like 10 millimeters or something times 2. Like 10 millimeters would be for each side. You'd have that gap. All right. It's probably what I should have done. But anyway, whatever size I make this, let's say I change my, let's see here, not my shell, but my length. Where's my hinge length? It will actually cascade. There we go. Say I want it to be 10 instead. So it will actually adjust with it, which is nice. Okay. Now I had a huge project I was working on, and I learned the hard way. What's going on here? There we go. And I learned the hard way that if you don't tie things to the origin, and you make a big change on a large project, that it really is a challenge to fix. Okay. Oh, what did I do? I made a change. So this is what will happen if you do make a change sometimes. And I did change it partway through. So with this sketch, when I made these circles, edit sketch. Now, I'm a little messy here, but you'll get the concept. I'll just make one circle, and it doesn't matter what size or shape. I can go up here to the circle here, and you see the dotted line, which is nice because it kind of ties it together. It's not completely necessary, but this is in principle. Okay, I got that one a little off. So what I want to do is I want to go, this one I want to equal that one. Okay, this one I want to equal that one. This one I want to equal that one. Now they're all the same shape. That's in your constraints. Okay, and then I want to go to escape and pick a different one. I want to do vertical to horizontal. This one is going to be the same vertical as that one, and that one's going to be the same vertical as this one. Okay, and this one's going to be the same vertical as that one. And this one's going to be the same as that one, horizontally. So now, no matter what I do, if I make this bigger or smaller, it looks like I forgot one of these to be equal, parallel, equal. This one to be equal to that. Okay. So, yeah, there they are. They'll all be together. One big happy family, right? So then we can go into our dimensions and, make this an arbitrary number. And now, if we need to move it around, we can. Check it out, yo. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then we want to tie it to an origin of some kind. All right, so good practice, which I didn't do. Again, I'm not taking my own advice. Don't tie it to the face. Tie it to the origin. Oop, I did a line instead of that. Control Z. Okay. So tie this to the origin, and then you won't get errors. Okay, so now I'm constrained my object to this distance. It can't move any farther. Uh-oh. All right. And then I want to constrain it another way. I want to do the same position. Okay. We'll just get rid of our bodies. Push the eyeball mark so we can actually see our origin. Okay. And we're going to go, boom. Same exact spot. Now I want it, you know, let's say I want it 2 millimeters off the origin. Okay, there we go. Now this one is locked in place. Okay. And then I need to do this one. I could tie these together if I want. If you know the gap between that. If you don't, that's okay. There's plenty of ways to like find those origins. Okay, or to find your distance between these two. And you just need a couple dimensions to make this good. So you don't have to dimension the whole thing. Just a couple. All right, we'll do another one here. From there to there, like 103. And now everything's black. Everything's good to go. Black is good. It means everything's fully constrained and there's nothing different. And if I would have done that on this instead of the edge, I wouldn't have these yellow line errors. So, lesson learned. Hopefully that helps. You guys you could also do a pattern, a rectangular pattern. Just start with one and do a rectangular pattern. It's a little more complicated. I find it, if I'm doing something small, I'm not doing something huge, I just do that. Okay, so that was sketch number 2. All right, and we extruded it out, or we extruded holes through it. So I just went, I'm gonna edit my feature. Oh, I guess that was getting ahead of myself here. Okay, the last step here. Now, we are making, let's see. We are making the spike in the middle, okay? And I found that this is nice. Instead of making just like a solid tube going through it, it makes it harder to print sometimes. It's a little easier if we can make it into a triangle at 45 degrees. And that way it's within your printer's parameters. You're not printing like completely 90 degrees off the the base plate. So that's really nice. Okay.